Every priest, every deacon, every consecrated religious, and many of the laity will daily pray 6 to 7 times with the Liturgy of the Hours, the Church's officially sanctioned prayer, so that at every point in time, somewhere throughout the world, God is being praised, and we are, as St. Paul encourages us to do, to pray without ceasing. For Compline, or night prayer, before anyone who prays the Liturgy of the Hours is ready to retire to bed and to entrust themselves to the care of the Lord throughout that night. This is the prayer, the invocation that we pray. Protect us, Lord, as we stay awake. Watch over us as we sleep, that awake we may keep watch with Christ, and asleep rest in his peace. I'd just like to reiterate 2 lines of that, please. Awake we may keep watch with Christ, and asleep rest in his peace. Wakefulness, vigilance, attentiveness. These are qualities that are required of the disciples of Jesus, and most particularly of a certain group of disciples. Those 3 whom Jesus pulls from the 12, from whom he's pulled from all of his disciples, that they might follow him, especially at particularly keen, insightful, and messianic moments. And those 3 are Peter, James, and John. Peter, James, and John have witnessed Jesus raise a little girl from the dead. Talitha kum, little girl, I tell you, arise. Jesus took them up a high mountain where he is transfigured before them, and they see him glorified. And then, after the Last Supper, he brings all of his disciples into the Garden of Gethsemane, and then brings these 3, Peter, James, and John, with him a little further. And then he goes along and prays, and he tells them, stay awake, be vigilant, that you not be put to the test. But what do we hear that Peter, James, and John do? They fall asleep on the job, if you will. They are not attentive. They are not awake. They do not keep awake, that they may keep watch with Christ. And so asleep, they're not resting in his peace. My dear friends in Christ, it's not either or. It's we'll sleep and rest in his peace, though we don't have to stay awake and keep watch with him. No. We are required, commanded to do both, so that while we are awake, we may be attentive, and that while we are asleep, then we may rest in peace. Peter, James, and John teach us at this very human moment of their discipleship that they fell asleep on Christ's watch, if you will, 3 times, at the moment of his greatest need. They teach us what you and I need to do, saints in the making, is to be vigilant, to be attentive, to keep awake and wary of any slothfulness or spiritual laziness whatsoever, but that we might do all things to keep watch with Christ, to stay awake with him, so that we might not be put to the test, so that ultimately we might rest in peace. Because, saints in the making, as St. Peter and St. James and St. John teach us, when we stay awake with Christ and we are able to rest in his peace, then we have made space for grace.